The arrogance of man is thinking DJs are out of control, and not the other way around.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
Please, you can kill it.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
Come on, you hate. You want to live forever?
I got a really bad feeling about this.
Godzilla will live.
And welcome back to the 108th episode of the Monster Movie Stompdown. Of course, you got your host, Sludge, here, co-host across from me,
It's the Lorax.
and the Grandmaster from Texas.
Over here in Heaton, Texas, Ruben.
Yeah, I heard Mark was talking about it, man, that you got a massive heat index this week, right? Something like that?
Yeah, it Saturday, I think it was Saturday, hit 125.
Wow.
Highest it's ever
Whoa,
been.
125. I'm not going to
For a heat index, not the real
Yeah.
temperature. You know, I tried it, okay, now. So all that means is I just take it a little slower if I'm doing anything outside. So like if I'm going to work on the yard, I don't do it till like 7 in the evening. Because I don't get dark till like 8:45 or so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know, about 8:45. So that's and I just cut the chore in half. I do the front on one day and then I do the backyard on another. And drink plenty of water. That's it. You know, but it's
That's
pretty
a little
hot
more.
down here.
Yep,
but you know
that's-
what? I'll take it because that big old high is saving us from any storms out in the Gulf, and there's one now, so it's kind of keeping us insulated from that stuff as long as it's sitting on top of us.
Oh,
So
well,
it's good.
that's a good thing. Anything good's come from
Yeah.
125 heat index. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
but we just got through Father's Day weekend, and of course we released a week late, and we apologize. The newest episode with Gamma vs. Gauss due to some technical difficulties, but we got it all sorted out and out to you guys, and had it pretty good. You guys have a good Father's Day weekend.
I had a good one. And then, do the usual work, make pizzas.
Right. Ruben, what about you?
Oh man, not much, man. Just went out to actually, and even that, like I said, we're gonna stay away from any of those restaurants that are gonna be crowded. You know, like there's a whole bunch here. So we just went to a little Mexican restaurant that we enjoy and sat down and had breakfast after church and just enjoyed the day together. That's all we did. You know, RJ in San Antonio, he didn't come down, and his wife is getting to the point where it's very uncomfortable to do anything. So,
right.
They stayed there. Yeah, she's at 6 months. It's just around the corner.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we didn't do much, and I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the lazy Sunday afternoon. To me, that's perfect. That's perfection to me.
Man, I
Sat there and just watched Yellowstone.
actually
that was it.
I still haven't watched Yellowstone yet, but I
Me
actually
neither.
did a whole lot of nothing for once. I mean, I got
There
attacked
you
by a
go.
murder
That's
hornet
what
this
I'm talking
weekend.
Oh,
For those who
no.
don't know, I'm extremely allergic to hornets and wasps. So I got stung Saturday. I was cutting trees down at my mom's for her and got drilled by one in the hand. It just jacked my hand up all weekend. But my wife was like, because I really couldn't do much of anything. So Sunday, my wife's like, okay, you're going to do nothing all day. You rest, because I just don't. I mean, the guys can attest. Anyone who knows me can attest. I don't ever freaking stop.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I won't do anything. Well, I got yelled at that day because the first time she saw me after I got up, I was walking through the living room with a drill in my hand. She's like, what do you think you're doing? I'm like, well, we got this new toy box and we washed it out and it's not draining, so I'm going to go pop a few holes in it, And she's like, I said no work. I was like, this is the only thing I'm going to do, I promise. She's like, well, that's it. So then she comes outside and, I mean, that's already done. But then I'm like working on the yard and she's like, get inside. I was like, okay, fine. So I actually got to rest for the most part Sunday, which doesn't ever happen. And man, I was craving Chinese food. There's a little Chinese place near us called Happy Star, and they've got like the best honey chicken. And I've been craving it for a couple weeks, just haven't had a chance to go down and get it. And she's like, well, let me go get you something to eat, whatever you want. I was like, honey chicken? She's like, for Happy Star? I was like, yeah. So I got honey chicken. So I was super stoked about it.
All right.
But
There
yeah, I
you go.
did played some video games and worked on some music and just relaxed most of the day, which was nice.
Came and see me. You came and see me.
I did.
You
I came and
Oh, there
came
you
and
go,
saw
yeah.
the Lorax
Yeah.
and got you. What did we get you? Beard. We got you a beard trimmer.
Yeah,
A beard trimmer and Reese cups like
Yep.
always, and a card. And what was
did.
that? The big gift though. Remember the big gift we got you? Because we brought you the razor or the
Yeah.
trimmer. We brought you the Reese cup.
Yeah.
And then we, got you the card.
Yeah.
There was something else in.
What
with
was
that.
it?
Wow. Well, you opened it.
What was it?
What do you mean? What was it?
What was it? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, it was an envelope. Had your name on it.
Oh man, why? Why you got to bring this stuff up?
Just
It was a mistake. They actually what happened was it was a letter about your senior benefits. And it came to his house. Tell me that wasn't some kind of setup.
No, it wasn't
a
addressed
setup.
to you, man. It was
Yeah,
addressed to you.
You filled the card out. You put my name on it, and you wanted it for yourself.
I have no idea. So
uh-huh.
it actually was his application to be the mall Santa Claus this year. Is what it really
I'm
was.
glad I'm glad the hornet stung you in the hand. You deserved
that's
it.
just rude. So rude. So anyway, we had a great Father's Day weekend, man. All you fathers that watch this, we hope you all had a fantastic Father's Day weekend. And,
And just can you see my shirt the best you can without me standing?
Yeah, they should be able to see it there.
That was my birthday gift, which
That's
was
right.
May 27th. So
all right.
I thought what a better place to wear it is right here.
Got to.
Right here.
Sweet.
Some Dragon Ball
Rocking
Z.
the Dragon Ball Z
You gotta
shirts.
love it.
Me and the grandkids picked it out for
Yeah.
him. So, which the boys are, I think they're finished. They're almost done with the Frieza saga. They've been going back through the Dragon Ball Z stuff. So they're.
I got out of the car, walking up in here, and Gavin was like, "Hey, like the shirt?" Like, "Hey, you got it for me."
They're big fans of the show for sure. So, all right. Well, man, it is time to get into this episode's movie, and Ruben picked this one. This is 1978's Piranha, one of the many films that came out after the first Jaws during the whole Nature Run Amok 70s and 80s. But this one definitely stuck out a little bit for a few reasons, which we will discuss momentarily. But right now, here's the trailer.
Lost River, take 32.
And action. Lost River is lost no more. Yes, friends, you can be part of a modern ecological miracle. Acres and acres of reclaimed land nestled in a scenic mountain valley, site of the newly formed Lost River Lake. You'll find swimming, sailing, snorkeling.
There's something strange in the water at Lost River Lake. Something you can't see, something you can't feel until it's too late. Started in a Texas pond.
Barbara! Or is there something in here?
David! David! Well, if it still works, it's the quickest way to know if they're down there or not.
What are you doing?
You drained the pond?
Yes, we found
You let them out?
They were unleashed into America's waterways to churn quiet streams into rivers of living death.
Keep your hand out of the water.
What's wrong with the water? Dad!
Stay back!
Dad! Stay back!
The water is filled with carnivorous fish.
Piranha, the deadliest man-eaters of all. In schools of hundreds, they attack and devour anything that moves with razor-sharp teeth that can strip a man to the bone in less than a minute.
There'll be no way to contain them. They'll be able to swim up every river system in the country.
There's a school of piranha heading straight downstream towards your resort.
They'll kill us. All of us.
Science fiction.
Excuse me, I'm on a phone.
They're the piranhas.
I thought I told you not even to say that word.
But the piranhas.
What about the piranhas?
They're eating the guests, sir.
They're here, and they're hungry. Piranha.
Okay, so before we jump into this movie, all right, we're sitting here trying to be professional and record, but the table keeps going brr, 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 because Mark.
It's not me. It's Drago, man. He's up moving around at the house, and
like they know who Drago is.
Drago's my bearded dragon. He's at my house, and I have a security camera, and he's obviously passing by the security camera, and it keeps setting it off, and it sends me an alert, so it keeps going crazy.
Dang, how big is this bearded dragon?
He's only about, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 foot long, but it covers my whole living room. So when he goes from one end of the tank to the other, it picks it up.
Yeah,
It picks him up.
Yeah.
And
Well, thanks,
and
Drago,
you just have
for
him
interrupting
You just
the
have
show.
him loose in the living room, huh?
Well, no, he's in a
Not like
tank.
an
He's
aquarium or
he's in he's in a big aquarium. He only
but
gets
still
to
sets it
he
off.
only, he only gets to come out and run around when we're there. So
Well, you need to tell him to calm it down because he's shaking the table nonstop. It's
crazy.
All right, so hopefully we'll make it through the show without Drago interrupting us.
Yes,
even
sorry
further,
about that.
We are doing 1978's Piranha. This movie came out August 3rd, 1978. That's actually my oldest son's birthday. It was actually my older brother's birthday as well, August 3rd. So it's a really cool date for this movie to come out. This movie was directed by Joe Dante. If you don't know that name, then you need to go back and watch a few episodes because we brought him up before. Roger Corman produced this movie. Of course, this was a Roger Corman film, and he's the king of B. The movie was made for like $600,000, small budget. But did like 16 million box office. I mean, this movie was a success. I mean, though, in all honesty, Roger Corman has never made a movie. He's got almost 400 movies in his credits. He's never made a movie that he has lost money on. Like, if anybody knows how to make a movie and profit, it's Roger Corman, and he did it with this one. And of course, Roger Corman's known for kickstarting so many people's careers: James Cameron's, Joe Dante's, Francis Ford Coppola's, actors like Jack Nicholson. You've got Dick Miller. He started with us. Sylvester Stallone. He kickstarted Sylvester Stallone's career. Stallone was in Death Race 2000. There's tons of them. So Roger's the man to go to when it comes to movies. And with this one, you do have some familiar faces in this movie. Of course, you got Dick Miller makes an appearance as Buck Gardner in this film. You've got Barbara Steele. She plays a government doctor, Dr. Minges or something, Mingers, whatever her name is. Kevin McCarthy's in this. So some familiar faces from back in the day. And then Keenan Wynn. Keenan Wynn's in this. We've seen Keenan Wynn, which I absolutely love this character in this, Jack. Keenan Wynn was in Dr. Strangelove. He was in Orca, which we've done. He was in a couple episodes of Kolchak, a lot of older, Westerns. And so, I mean, people that you would know. So, I mean, it's one of those movies it's really kind of similar story plot that you'll find out. At the beginning of the movie, you got these two people. They're hiking through. They run across this old abandoned water facility. They don't know what it is. They decide to go skinny dip, which is just, he even says, like, this could be a sewage plant. She's like, no, it's good. Whatever. So they jump into it, and skinny dip in this pool and don't know that the piranha are in there. And the piranha eat them alive, But this plant was actually used previously and closed down by the U.S. government because they were testing genetically on piranha to create a weapon, an ecological weapon, during the Vietnam War. And, of course, the war was over, so they dropped the project. They thought they killed and poisoned all the piranha, but obviously not. Some of them has survived. And you got Dr. Hoke, who is played by Kevin McCarthy in this, overseeing. He kind of stayed behind to make sure they don't get out or, whatever. And, of course, then, you've got our main characters, Paul and Maggie. Maggie's a journalist, and she comes to find these missing people, or she works for a company that's what they do is they look for missing people. And I don't know why I said journalist, because she seems like one. So she comes and she meets Paul, who is our main character in this movie, and they go looking for him. Of course, they find the facility, and they drain the pool. McCarthy comes out, freaking out, what are you doing? They released the piranha into the local lake, the local river system. And, of course, they've got to now try and stop them as the piranha go through and start attacking and killing people over and over again to stop them from going to this summer camp and then big summer blockbuster deal in the lake where you got tons of kids and people swimming, which, of course, we know what happens. The government comes to try and stop them. They don't listen to our main characters. Piranhas get out of the way to, from there, they're planning on poisoning them. They go another route, go right to these kids in the summer blockbuster in this camp, and just start tearing through, eating everybody. And Paul ends up remembering, he worked for this company that made this poison, and he has a way to poison the piranha to kill them. And so the final scene, they go to this thing. He dives underneath the water because it's all been, drowned at this point, and he releases the thing. Kind of beast mode because he's doing this while he's being attacked by the piranha at the same time. Opens the valves, and the poison starts coming out, and, Maggie's in the boat, and he's tied to a rope, and she has to count to 100, and when she hits 100, she shoots off. I don't understand how his back didn't break. Yeah. And he didn't fold in half out the window of that building. But, whatever. It worked, and so you assume that he killed all the piranha. But, of course, it leads open to, they're trying to stop the piranha from getting to the ocean because they were heading that way. And then you see the ocean at the end, and you hear the piranha noise at the end. And then, a la we actually get a sequel down the road. So, I mean, that's the plot of the movie. But this movie, I haven't gone first in a minute, so I think I'll go first this time. Man, this was fun. Like, Steven Spielberg himself actually complimented this film. Universal was, at one point, was trying to ban it or sue them for releasing it because they were had just released Jaws 2. But they couldn't because Steven Spielberg had publicly complimented how much he liked this film. You know what I mean? It's like, this is pretty, it holds like a 72% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. For a lower budget film, of course, it's Roger Corman. It does have a flair and a style to it. And they handled it really well. Like the Piranha, you don't ever really get a true, solid, good look at them. Like they filmed them where they're moving so frenetically and attacking so fast and quick, and the way the camera's angles are, you can tell they're Piranha. You can see the teeth, you can see everything, but it's so fast that like you don't get a moment to see, hey, this was made under $600,000 budget. Which the way that Joe Dante shot this film, I think helped that a lot when it comes to them. But there was cool moments in the movie where you saw the intelligence of the Piranha. Like when they're on, coming down the river on the raft, and the Piranha start attacking the raft, they're chewing through the ropes because they're like, hey, the prey's on the raft. So that was pretty cool. You had those, the Piranha were really cool throughout the movie. Like I really liked the Piranha, the way they were handled. I love the noise they make when they're swarming. So it was handled very, very well. A lot of the shots were like above the water where you'd see all the craziness, but then tons of blood and the person screaming or whatever. So he handled it very, very well to make it bigger than it was. So I think that was a lot of pluses, a lot to be said for Joe Dante. I mean, he knew the budget he was working on, he knew what he was working with, and he knew how to do the best he could with it. And it really shined through. Like, it's been a minute since I've watched this. I actually watched the sequel, Piranha 2, which we will discuss in a moment. Not too long ago, but it's been a while since I watched this original one. And going back and watching this, because you have this one, it had a sequel. You had a remake in the 90s that Roger Corman again did for a Showtime movie. And then you had another remake that what's his name? The guy did House on Hill, the Hills Have Eyes remake. He remade this with Ving Rhames, and then they got a sequel because you had Piranha 3D is what I'm talking about, and then Piranha 3 Double D. You know what I mean? Like, and they just went absurd with those, But and were very campy and very fun, and had a great cast. Christopher Lloyd's in the newer one. Oh my gosh, I just totally forgot his name. Richard Dreyfuss, he was in the new one, so throwbacks to Jaws, because we wouldn't have Piranha if it wasn't for Jaws. Anyways, but go back to this original one, man, they handled it extremely well. The cast is great. I was kind of a little bummed that like Dick Miller's only in it for like 2 minutes, like 2 or 3 scenes. He plays the guy at this lake resort, like the mayor in Jaws. I mean, that's essentially who he is. He's
the mayor in Jaws.
Yeah. Like, don't worry about the Piranha. It's fine. Just go swimming, But what really sticks out, and I've said this before in other movies, like talking about like Mimic and stuff, if you're willing to kill a child on film, your movie's going to stick up above the rest. And there are quite a few children, spoiler alert, who get mauled by these Piranha in this film. And then one of the shots there at the end, what I like, is after everything's said and done, after the attack on the beachgoers and stuff there at the lake, and everyone's like laying out bloodied, and they're like calling medic, and you got all the police and stuff like this, and you got the reporter. Like, that's the finale, the result of the chaos was amazing. That was so much better than any result of the chaos in Jaws, because you see everybody running out of the water when the boy gets attacked. But this was just a whole nother level. And then Dick Miller being awesome Dick Miller, I loved, for some reason, stuck out when he walks up to that cameraman and he starts grabbing him, shaking, like, "What are you filming?" Like, yes, I don't know, it was just very gripping, that scene was.
Yeah.
So I love this movie, man. Like, I thought it was fantastic. Joe Dante did a great job. They handled the special effects. They weren't bad. The special effects were actually really good. Actually, Jack, Keenan Wynn, who's one of my favorite actors, and he's in this, he gets killed and he gets his legs eaten off on a dock, and he has to, he ends up dying, bleeding to death, crawling himself back. Like, the special effects were insanely good. I mean, when you see they just look disgusting. They did very well with the special effects.
People out in the lake that was getting ate at that, when they were coming into the resort.
Yeah.
Man, looked pretty gruesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, even like when Paul's getting eaten underwater at that facility.
Oh, yeah.
And they're taking chunks out of his face. I'm like, dude, they did a really, really good job. So I loved it. About an hour and a half runtime, man. There's no real slowdown period. The only thing I have complaints on this movie would be the soundtrack is just really odd at times. Like the intro music, I kind of felt like I was going into like you see the scene and they get attacked and they get eaten at the facility, you know, the two people at the beginning, and then it goes to the opening credits, and it goes into a musical score that I felt like I was fixing to watch like a 1960s, early 70s Hallmark drama movie. You know what I mean? Like it was very, very, very weird. Very weird.
Yes.
So like, and it happens a few times throughout the movie where I'm like, this soundtrack choice is really odd. You know, I'm like, is this because it was a theatrical film, but it had like a made-for-TV soundtrack, but for like a cheap drama. You know, I'm like, it was odd. So I love this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I love, especially when it comes to anything Corman does. You're going to love. Especially knowing, you know, how he does it and how he kickstarts so many people's careers. I mean, he kickstarted Joe Dante's career with this, and I'm a big fan. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a Corman film I'm not a fan of, monster movie or not. So who's up next, man? Which one you guys want to go for this one? Ruben?
You want me to go? I'll go.
Grandmaster?
Yeah. This has been a favorite B-movie classic for me. You know, this is way back to when it was released, you know, and you're right. This is a knockoff. When Jaws came out, every studio said, we got to release something too, you know, and they did Orca and they did Grizzly. You mentioned Grizzly and
Keenan
Alligator.
Wynn.
There was just a whole bunch.
There was in Orca. The guy plays Jack in this was in Orca.
Yeah. Orca. There was just so many of them that came out. But this one is most memorable for me because I remember watching this as a kid. And I don't know how it was when you all were kids, but most theater employees didn't care about the rating. You know, we paid for a movie ticket. They didn't care if I was 12 or 17. So I saw this at the theater. So, you know, it was just kind of like, I think I've mentioned it before. Yeah, you saw it on TV. I saw it at the theater in 78. They were just letting us in. You know, I can't remember a time they didn't let us into it. We wanted to see a movie. We didn't even look at the rating. Of course, it was filmed in Texas. And Aquamarina Springs, just so you know, is a real location. And that swimming pig is real too. They had a swimming pig at Aquamarina Springs. So that was not just a prop. He actually lived there on set. It was filmed in San Marcos, Austin, you know, the Austin area. That's where Aquamarina Springs is there, and along the Guadalupe River. So to me, as a kid, having gone there, because it was Aquamarina Springs was, you know, it was I don't want to call it an amusement park, but it was, you know, it had glass bottom boats, there was animals, and there was all kinds of stuff going on. There's caves nearby that, you know, you could get a tour of the caves. And I remember going as a kid. So when this movie came out and we found out it was filmed there, well, I had to see it. So there's nothing I don't like about this movie. It's great. And you're right. It's a theater released movie that has a made for TV vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what it is.
I think the soundtrack really makes that happen.
Yeah. You know, and it does have that vibe. But I remember sitting there and watching it, and it's pretty bloody, and I thought the effects were great. I mean, considering the budget now, knowing now what I didn't know back then. Back then, I didn't care budgets or anything. I just knew I was a kid, and there was Piranha, and there was a lot of blood and people getting attacked. And I will go back to Sludge's point that, you know, this movie's serious when they're willing to have a kid killed. And they not only killed, but you see them. I mean, there's that one scene at the summer camp where the summer camp counselor who ignored the warnings, and he was the mayor of the summer camp, and then there was a mayor for Aquamarina Springs. Yeah. You know, you're drunk, and he hangs up, and then there's a scene where he's over a kid, and the kid is still exposed, and she's all, I think it was a girl, she was all just chewed up, and then he covers her up, but the white sheet is just drenched in blood, and he's sitting there crying because he didn't listen. And of course, you know, he gives him a glance like, I told you not to put the kids in the water, you know? So, there's nothing. I mean, I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. It's got a good pace. I thought for a knockoff, it had a pretty good story, you know? You know, this was Like, how do you fight a pack of piranha? You don't. A grizzly, all that. Well, you can maybe shoot it. Orca. It's kind of like Jaws. But this, there's no way that you're going up against a school of piranha that are gonna feed on you. Go on a feeding frenzy. There's no way. You can't defend yourself from that. If they get a hold of you, you're gone. You're gone. That's all there is to it. Pretty much. I mean, somehow some people managed to survive, which I thought was kind of funny, but the little kids didn't or whatever. But all in all, I enjoyed this movie. I did not find a flaw in it. I didn't even notice the soundtrack because I'm so into the story. And I know it's a B movie and it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. They want high dollar CGI effects but what let me just put it to you this way. You got 78s and then you have the 2 reboots. I'll still take the 78.
I'm with you there 100%. Not that I dislike the reboots,
I'll still take
but
that.
The 78 one, this one, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying the reboots are bad or good or any. I'm just saying if you put the 3 up against each other, I'll still take as B movie as it is, I'll still take the 78 over the 2 reboots. Now, if you want to talk about the sequels, so we can talk a little bit about that. But still, to me, this one's on, as far as the Piranha list, this one's on top. And then everybody else comes on, all the other reboots and remakes and 3Ds and all that other good stuff come after. So much so, I will say this. I told RJ, I said, yeah, we're going to do Piranha. He goes, oh, Piranha 3D? He knew about Piranha 3D, and I'm like, no, we're gonna do the original one. Piranha 3D is I guess it's got a cult status too.
It does, it definitely does. For many other reasons, though.
That's one I have not seen.
He said he saw it at the movies that he on one of those group date things back in junior high, and it's right around that time. So I guess he goes, yeah, I saw that movie. I said, you did? He goes, yeah. He goes, it was around. When we went on those group dates in junior high, I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's
I don't even
definitely
remember.
not one I would recommend taking the kiddos to see. That's for sure for the remake. So, unless
I don't know which one the 3D one. I've never seen the 3D one.
Yeah, so the 3D one it is great. It's hysterical. Ving Rhames is fantastic in it. Richard Dreyfuss is Christopher Lloyd. They're all great. The Piranha special effects are super good. But so what happens is the Piranha come to a lake, kind of like this one, but they're prehistoric. They're released from a cavern. But they come to an MTV Spring Break mixed with a Girls Gone Wild scenario. So you got Jerry O'Connell in it, who is kind of like the Girls Gone Wild guy, right? So there's a ton of nudity in this movie. He
didn't mention that to me. I'm gonna have to call him up and get after that.
Well, the biggest thing is Jerry O'Connell, as you're watching it, is a major tool throughout the whole movie. And then he finally gets just dismembered by the piranha, which is fantastic, because the whole time you're like, yes. But then what you don't expect is to see a specific body part of Jerry's in 3D floating across the screen.
Maybe I'm pretty glad I didn't see 3D.
Yeah. So
you know what? 78 still is on top then.
Absolutely. 78 comes above this one. So spoiler warning for the kiddos: don't let them watch Piranha 3D. But so, anyways, go ahead.
And there is your typical 70s nudity in this one, but it's not. I wouldn't call it over the top.
No, it's pretty brief, pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty brief and pretty quick, and it's a typical nudity for that era. It's kind of like to bring, I think they use that as a tool to bring in just a little bit more more ticket sales or whatever. But it's not. I wouldn't call it at all over the top or like I said. In other words, they don't just stick it in there for no reason. There's always a reason for it.
Right, yeah. I mean, and collectively, if you put it all together, it might take up 2 seconds of film time. It's
very brief. Yeah, it's very brief, and it's not anything that I would call gratuitous. I wouldn't call it gratuitous. There's the word I was looking for.
One of the scenes involving it, though, because we do try to let you guys know if there's any nudity or stuff like that in these movies, is when Paul and Maggie are in this military tent because they're being kept there by the military, and one of the scenes is they're trying to distract the guard outside, and she goes to ultimately is flashing them. But that is one of the funniest freaking scenes in the movie because it's so out of nowhere, and I lost it watching it. And he's like, Paul's like, okay, he's gonna use a sleeping bag to like cover him up and so they can take off or whatever. You're gonna distract him, Maggie. And she's like, well, okay. But then she goes, but what if he's gay? And he's like, then I'll distract him. It's like just out of nowhere. I was losing it. I was like,
and then she asked the guard straight up.
Oh yeah,
she just asked the guard, and the guard's like, "What?" And then she goes, "Oh, whatever." And there's your 2 seconds, right?
Right there.
Distracts him. She lifts up her shirt.
That is one of the most.
And he makes a
scenes
face,
in the
and
movie.
then the sleeping bag goes over his face, and then he's out cold. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny too. That was a pretty, and there's some humor peppered throughout.
Yeah.
And you could tell that that it was inspired by Jaws, like 2 kids going swimming. It's like the beach, but it's and it even reminded they're backpacking. I'm like, oh, just like Werewolves in London. They're just backpacking through the woods for no reason whatsoever.
In the middle of the night with no flashlight.
In the middle of the night,
exactly.
Yeah.
But all in all, I enjoyed this film. I recommended it because it's one of my favorite B movies, and one of my favorite. I mean, you're like Sludge. I like Roger. If it's Roger, it says Roger Corman on it. I'm giving it a shot at least once. And this is one of my favorite Roger Corman films, and that's saying a lot because he's got his filmography is extensive.
Oh,
and
very
this is one of
extensive.
my favorite. Yeah. So all in all, I love this movie, and that's why I recommended it. And I will say that the Stomp rating that it's going to reflect that it was filmed in Texas because that's automatically
Automatically bonus there.
That's a stomp right there.
Oh,
it's in
all by
Texas.
itself.
One stomp right there. Yeah.
So,
All right.
So I'm going to hand it over to Mark.
all right. Well, Lorax, what you got?
Well, I'm with both of you guys, man. Great movie. I liked watching it. I enjoyed it. And I think that especially how Jaws came out and everybody was afraid to get in the ocean because of Jaws. And I think this is what they were doing except for in fresh water.
Right.
Let's scare you to death. Don't get in fresh water. And I would imagine at the time, tourist places were going, no, don't play that around here. Don't play that around here. But I think, the special effects I thought were great. Trying to film or come up with a school of fish or a school of piranhas swimming is pretty difficult. I thought they did a great job on it. And when they attacked, it looked like they were, attacking. They were ripping some flesh. And so I think that part, they did a great job at it. Now, with me, I'm kind of like an animal freak and that kind of stuff. And I'm, immediately I'm thinking those piranha don't work like that all the time.
Right.
I watched River Monsters. I don't even remember River Monsters.
Yeah.
And he gets in the water with them and fishes, and none of them attack him. But
hey, these are mutated, Mark.
Exactly. That's exactly what came through my mind when I was watching. I was like, these things are mutated, and they can do fresh water, they can do salt water, and so they've done all this stuff, and so it just makes it that.
I don't mean to
extra
interrupt, Mark, but you brought up something because I read a story. It was in the San Antonio Express, and that they actually had a problem in Acarina Springs that people didn't want to go in the water because they heard that they filmed piranha there. And they thought they actually released piranha in the water, and that they were still there.
Wait.
So that they had to say, no. We didn't. They were robotic, and there's no piranha in the water. They actually had to put out a little publicity campaign to make sure that people knew that. So go on. I didn't mean to interrupt, but when you said that, I'm like, oh, I remember that.
That could possibly put you out of business. I don't know when Jaws came out, how the tourism was as far as at the beaches, like in Florida and whatever, how they were. Did people stay away from the?
Oh, I'm sure they saw it.
I could say down here in Texas, it was a conversation.
Oh yeah, and I would imagine with piranha is going to be the same way. But a lot of great actors and actresses in there. I liked the storyline. I liked the way it went. It was and like you said, Ruben, the typical late 70s. Couple goes off by themselves, swimming in a pool in the middle of nowhere, that kind of stuff. But overall, man, I'd watch it again and again. Just a very, very good movie. Enjoyed it, and no complaints here. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. This one I could do a repeat. I've seen it before. Like I said, it's been a while, but I was like watching it again. I'm like, man, I could watch this again. Definitely. I loved it. Way better than the sequel. Before we move to the Stompdown rating, I will let y'all know if those are not aware. He does try to. He's a little more open about it now, but used to he tried to keep it under the belt. But Piranha 2: The Spawning, the sequel to this, was actually James Cameron's first directorial debut. And it is a big whopping pile of garbage for being one of the worst movies ever made, and he knows it. Like some people, like there's been lists where it's on the top of worst films of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's pretty bad. Nowhere near as good as this one, but this one's fantastic. Definitely worth watching. So let's find out what we thought about with the rating. It's Stompdown rating time. All right, and so collectively, this movie got a solid 3.5 from us. So I know I gave it a 3.5, Mark gave it a 3.5, but because this is a Texas-made film, the Grandmaster from Texas, of course, gave it a little extra bump, and it got a 4 from him.
Right. Yes.
But super solid, man. I mean, 3.5 all the way around. It's good, man. For those nature run-amok films, me personally, you know, I would still put Alligator above. You know what I mean? But if you had like a top 5 list of nature run amok films, I think it would be this is number 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be up there from that genre. I think it's just that good of a movie and worth a watch. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I have a question for you, and if I put you on the spot, don't worry. What's your favorite Roger Corman film?
my favorite Roger Corman film, man, that's I mean, I'm going to have to go, even though there are definitely better Corman films. But just
this is favorite. This has nothing to do. It could be the worst Corman film ever. Just which one's your
it's
favorite?
definitely not the worst Corman film. I will say that. But favorite. I mean, it's just nostalgic wise, and we've talked about it before. Man, it's going to have to. It's a tie, but it's going to have to go to Carnosaur or Carnosaur 2.
I knew that was coming,
and
I like Carnosaur 2. and that could be.
Yeah, I mean Carnosaur 2. I would pick Carnosaur 2. Only because the cast was so much better, and you have so much more memorable characters. So Carnosaur 2, I mean, you've got greats, man. I mean, Death Race 2000 definitely is a better film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You've got there's so many movies of his that are honestly better. You got the old Edgar Allan Poe movies that are better. You know, The Raven, The Pit and the Pendulum with Vincent Price. But favorite, I mean, just nostalgically, and I love freaking dinosaurs, and I hate Jurassic Park because it should have been more like Carnosaur and bloody, but so it would have to be.
I got something on my throat.
Killing Ruben over here. Carnosaur 2, hands down, Carnosaur 2, I could watch that movie every single day. Like, I love that movie.
And that's what your favorite. And mine is, I had between I like Death Race, but Piranha is my nostalgia favorite. I mean,
Piranha would be like, if I had a top 5 Roger Corman films, Piranha would without doubt be in the top 5. It'd be a little hard to sort it. I mean, because like you got to throw Death Race in there, man, or like Forbidden World was fan-freaking-tastic. That was actually Forbidden World was Robert Englund's debut movie.
Really?
Yeah, before Freddy Krueger came along. You know what I mean? There's some good ones. There's some dang good Roger Corman films. So, but Piranha,
there is. Yeah. So, about you, Mark? You can't think of anyone?
No, well, I was saying I like Carnosaur. I mean,
that's right. You did say.
Yeah. And,
okay, now here's the next question: Nature Run Amok film. Which one?
Oh man, so Nature Run Amok film. Now, are we talking like the actual?
To be fair,
we'll
take out like Godzilla. We'll take because Godzilla.
I wouldn't consider that Nature Run Amok.
I'm taking out that. I'm talking about like from that era.
When you're talking Nature Run Amok, you're talking about like that. An animal, so a shark, a gator, a fish, a snake. That type of stuff. Nature Run Amok. So are we just the whole gamut since Jaws? From 75 to today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Me, oh man, that's tough because there are some really, really good ones. I'm honestly, it's tough because I don't know which one I'd pick. Honestly, I know which one I lean to. Nostalgia. Nostalgia's always going to win. Yeah, I would. Oh man, I don't know that one scene in Slugs. I would have to go Alligator. I mean, like Slugs would probably be like an immediate pick for just nasty freaking Nature Run Amok. I love how gross the movie is.
Do we count Jaws as one? Yeah, because it has to be, in my opinion, Jaws to be in the best. I mean, it literally terrified millions of people.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking made from Jaws. If we're including Jaws in it, then yes, Jaws absolutely.
Jaws, but if we're not, changed to me, Jaws just changed everything.
Oh, it did. It did. Well, it was the
and Sludge's being alligator, then we can call that the second, because I was going to say Jaws too, because it changed everything, but it's nostalgia for me. Like, I remember waiting in line for that one.
For Jaws
I think we talked about it a long time ago we were talking about what makes a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And all that for a summer blockbuster, and almost everyone agrees that Jaws. I think that's what we were disagreeing about on that show is. What was the very first blockbuster? And I said it was Jaws.
Yeah, because most historically, Jaws is credited as the first summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
The argument that I presented back in that episode when we did that was Beast from 20,000
So you got Jaws, and then you got Piranha for me. You got Jaws, and then you got Alligator. If you want to exclude Jaws, and to me it's Piranha at the time. I mean, there was a lot of films, man. Terrible films like
there is a
bunch.
So Ruben, yours would be Piranha. Mine would be Alligator.
And mine would be Jaws.
No, we're not including Jaws. We're not including Jaws. The
second favorite.
second. Jaws after Jaws.
Jaws is the run amok.
Yeah,
Godzilla run amok.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Jurassic Park. Say Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Say Jurassic Park. Golly, no. I mean, I guess that technically would be Nature Run Amok. But you got a lot of good ones, man, especially in the 70s and 80s. I mean, that's when you had Piranha, Alligator, Grizzly.
Yeah. I liked Grizzly. It was
Grizzly
really
was
good.
really good.
Really good.
I guess you could. What Prophecy would be one. You guys liked Prophecy.
Yeah, Prophecy's another one. Then that would be the same time. I mean, you've got a lot from them, but man, then you had a 90s boom of Nature Run Amok films. You had Anaconda come out, Python. You had Crocodile. Crocodile's a good one, man. Crocodile was Toby Hooper. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He did Crocodile. That was Eaten Alive in the 70s, which wasn't really Nature Run Amok, but I mean, you had giant crocodiles who were eating people at that hotel. But I mean, like I said, Anaconda. You had bats. Yeah. Dude, bats with Donald Phillips. Like
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
Oh, man. I forgot all about bats.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
You just jarred my memory on that one. Yeah, that one was really. I remember
there's a few out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot. And a lot of really, really solid good ones out there.
There was one called Nightwing, too.
Oh, dude. Oh, my gosh. I have to change, man. I have to change. Nope. I reel it back in, man. I can't. Nightwing goes above Alligator.
Yeah.
Like, without question.
Nightwing, man.
Like, that was fan.
We started talking, and in my memory, and I'm like, man, Nightwing. I remember Nightwing. That was a big man. That's a good one.
I've got that.
Well, then what
do I even have it down here? I may have it. No, I don't have it down here.
I was going to say, do you include werewolf movies into?
Well, no, that's a monster. So I mean, a natural animal.
Okay.
Would have Nature Run Amok.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Nightwing. I got that on VHS.
But if you do werewolves, I'm going Creature with the Black Lagoon. Then
for werewolves.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
He said that. He goes, well, the werewolves count on.
I was like, wait, what is
Creature?
I got so lost on that one. I was like, how did we go from Creature with the Black Lagoon to freaking werewolves?
Mark said, the werewolves count.
On Sludge's face was like, what just happened here?
Dude, I missed something because we went way. I don't know what.
He doesn't hear that, but he hears.
He hears
he's not supposed to hear.
Anyways, I don't know what. I got lost on that one. But so Piranha, man, solid 3.5. We highly recommend this film, especially from the Nature Run Amok movies. If it's not the best, as Ruben says, it's one of the best, like me and Mark say. Like, it's worth it, man. It's super, super good. So if you've never seen it, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Yeah. And, man, I think it's about time for everyone's favorite segment of the show. Can't wait to find out about the Lorax's viewing of Gargantua. It's time to test your might.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
Okay, and I'm super stoked to find out about this because Mark lost last time, and
I did.
Lorax had to watch a 1998
War of the. He watched War. Oh, you didn't watch War of the Gargantua? That's what he said he was going to watch.
Just Gargantua.
Just Gargantua, 1998 Gargantua with Alex Baldwin. Yeah, what'd you think of that one?
Well, I get, I watched it. I watched and I enjoyed some of it, and other parts of it I thought it was ridiculous. Okay, and the copy that you gave me wasn't very good at all. Very good. I think the first 15, maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, it was barely focused. It focused in and out, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm going to have to watch all this way." But it then straightened out, and it was fine.
Sludge did it with his video camera.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So this movie, and I'm going to assume here that most of you all have never even heard of this film. So this came out during the Godzilla 98 boom, okay? Yeah. And holy crap, are you kidding me? Well, I went to look, I'm like, I've never been able to find this movie. I remember watching it on TV. Never been able to find it on like an actual copy to buy. I don't know that it ever came out on DVD. Had to been VHS only. And so I managed to find the only, and I said Alex Baldwin, it's Adam Baldwin was I thinking. Managed to find the only copy I could find. I found off of YouTube. And it was like super low quality. You know what I mean? Like
very low quality.
Yeah, like a rip of a VHS screening or something. Like it was so bad. But I just went, I was like, well, what can we find on eBay? The first one that pops up on eBay, sealed. Now this is still sealed. $120 freaking dollars. That is ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
But let's see. Let's actually see what it sells for.
Man.
If they've sold any of those. Oh wait, here's one, $8.66.
Okay,
that's a lot better. That's a lot better.
That's more better.
$8.60. Like, because it's hard to find, and I will. Mark did suffer through some quality issues.
It was very, very rough. And as far as the typical plot of the movie back, when your favorite movie in '98,
not my favorite movie at all. Biggest disappointment in life.
You got to have the typical find the baby. And then the mom comes, and then then the dad comes, and then the whole family is.
No, it was like they're like, let's redo Gorgo, but throw in another.
It was absolutely.
It sounds like
crazy.
Kong Lives. It sounds like Kong Lives.
No, it's not as nowhere near as good as King Kong.
And the thing that got me is like when the movie starts out, is Adam Baldwin's the marine biologist, and he brings his son, and so. Adam, his character, is doing his job and stuff, and his son just runs off, and he's gone for 24 hours, and they're not even looking for him. They're like, well, he's around here somewhere. He's on an island, so whatever. And and it was just like I'm like, no, this would never happen. This would never happen.
Or if you go back to Peter Benchley's The Creature, and they're on the island, and his kid runs off, and like within 30 minutes, like, where's he at? What's going on? No, not in Gargantua. They're like, whatever, the kid's fine.
Well, he asked, hey, have you seen Brandon? Everybody's like, no. Okay, let me get back to work. What's happening here? Overall, it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie.
Dude.
I would give it about a 2.
I don't know that I would even give it that much. I remember watching it and going, okay, you got the beach scene where the military fights the dad at the beach, and the dad Gargantua was a giant salamander, by the way, which is what happens in this movie. And I'm watching it going, holy crap. Okay, the scene in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah where the Godzillasaurus fights the military is not the best well-done acted or special effects scene in Godzilla history, unfortunately. That was far superior to what happened in Gargantua. Not only that, the entire Reptilian movie, the Jan Gary remake, was superior to Gargantua. And that is saying something right there. So,
and then to top it off, my last 20 minutes of the movie is spent just like a typical Japanese movie. You see the lips move, but it's dead silent. Wait about 5 seconds, and here comes the audio. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have to watch this the rest of the way out.
So, not bad.
Hey, thumbs down all the way around.
All right. Well, there we go for Gargantua. I'm glad you got to enjoy that experience since I had to go through Son of Kong twice.
That's all right. We know what you're watching. If you
no, God, no, please, not again. So All right, so it's time for the trivia this time around. And again, we have got trivia from one Kurt Harper. Kurt, thank you. You
Yes,
put
Kurt.
up with the brown beating from these two last episode, so you stuck with us.
I do not recall.
Ruben,
I do not
did you
recall
hear-
any of that?
Ruben, did you hear from Kurt? Did you hear from
No.
Kurt? Anything from Kurt? I didn't either.
I didn't hear.
He's still not talking to us, but he seems to keep talking to you, don't he?
No, it's not like he's messaging me every day.
Well, yeah.
I reached out to him. Hey, man, need help again.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey,
See,
we
we
got you
help
too,
again.
Kurt. We got you too,
you're the
Kurt.
man, Kurt. You are the man. So he has sent us a fresh round of trivia today.
He has sent you.
He has sent it over to me, and I have not seen it. So here we go. We're going to go through and get this started. All right. Are you guys, where is it? Are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. He said trivia, the sweet science. Number one, this movie is written by the famed writer, director, actor John Sayles. What other animal attack movie did he write? So John Sayles. A, Jaws 2, B, Alligator, or C, you know what that is, right? The snake film?
Yeah, that's you. That's
No.
you. That's you.
Snake film. So, gosh. Okay. No, there's a no prize bonus to this one.
Okay.
What werewolf movie did John Sayles write also? But that's just a no prize bonus. But so which movie did John Sayles write? A, Jaws 2, B, Alligator, or C,
I have no idea. Let's just write another one.
All right. Number two. A scientist makes a Ymir, 20 million miles to Earth, a Ymir-like creature in a homage to Ray Harryhausen. The actor playing the Doctor was in what famous sci-fi flick?
You gave us that.
So
one.
he's talking about this movie. Okay. So the Ymir.
This is trivia on Piranha, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to get in. So
I just
know where-
gave you the answer too, by the way.
Yeah.
A scientist makes a Ymir-like creature in a homage to Ray Harryhausen. The actor playing the Doctor was in what famous sci-fi flick? A, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, B, Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, or C, 20 Million Miles to Earth? No bonus prize. Name the actor. So we're talking about, remember the scene in the movie in Piranha where you got that little creature?
Yeah.
Which, why did they didn't continue on with that? Like, they should have continued on with that little stop motion creature.
You know, I meant to mention that during the show. I'm like,
I forgot to as well.
they could have done a sequel on that guy. He's gone somewhere.
List that again.
Okay, so let me do it one more time.
Because we're talking, you get me off in the left field.
All right, sorry. All right. Oh crap! I went out of the questions. My bad. Let me get over here. Okay, back to the questions.
My gosh.
So number two, a scientist in Piranha makes a Ymir-like creature in an homage to Ray Harryhausen. The actor playing the Doctor in Piranha was in what famous sci-fi flick? A, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, B, Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, or C, 20 Million Miles to Earth? As a no prize bonus, name the actor.
A no prize bonus.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Number three. Roger Corman gave Joe Dante his first shot at directing with Piranha. What did Joe Dante do for Corman before that? A, edit movie trailers. B, was a gopher. C, special effects guru. Again, Roger Corman gave Joe Dante his first shot at directing with Piranha. What did Joe Dante do for Corman before that? A, edit movie trailers. B, gopher. Or C, special effects guru. No prize bonus. What werewolf movie did Dante direct?
I have no idea on this.
All right. Are we ready for the answers? I've got to find them and pull them up.
Do your thing.
Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. All right. And
You're
switch-
quiet over there, Ruben. What's going on? You think you got
So
this
far,
thing?
I'm sure of 2 out of the 3. There's one I had to guess at.
I guess it all three.
Only he gave us one during the show.
Yeah. See if you all catch it. So, all right.
Yeah.
Number one. This movie is written by the famed director, writer, actor John Sayles. What other movie or animal attacks movie did he write? A, Jaws 2, B, Alligator, or C, The correct answer is B, Alligator.
Oh, I did not know that.
And the no prize bonus question, what werewolf movie did John Sayles write? Did y'all know that one? Correct answer is The Howling, which
Good
I didn't
movie.
know that.
Good movie.
Because that's actually the answer for another one of these questions. All right, number 2. A scientist makes a Ymir-like creature. We've repeated this one a couple times. Okay. That the actor playing the Doctor was in what other famous sci-fi flick? A, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, B, Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, or C, 20 Million Miles to Earth? Answer is A, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And do we know the name of that doctor?
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. I gave it to you before the show. Kevin McCarthy. Dr. Hoke.
Oh,
Dr.
yes.
Hoke. Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Hope.
All right. Dr. Hoke. Number 3. Roger Corman gave Joe Dante his first shot at directing with Piranha. What did Dante do for Corman before that? A, edit movie trailers, B, gopher,
That's it.
or C, special effects guru? The answer is A, edit movie trailers.
Yeah.
And there's a quite hilarious story about that, which I'll share in just a moment. And the no prize bonus, what werewolf movie did Dante direct? We should all know that as The Howling.
The Howling. I mean,
So, yes, so Dante actually, how many did you get right?
1.
How many did you get right?
3. I got him.
You got all 3 right? I got all 3
3?
right.
Yeah.
I honestly, I wasn't sure
I did
if you
guess
get.
one.
Oh, okay. Did you guess the
Which
Kevin
one?
McCarthy one?
Yeah, I guessed that one.
Okay, I was wondering if that'd be one. I'm like, they ain't gonna get this one. Like, I bet they don't get the other movie that he's in. But yeah, Dante actually edited trailers for Corman, and it was hilariously known that if you go back and watch a lot of the Roger Corman trailers for his movies, you're going to see a helicopter explosion scene in like almost every one. If you go back and see the helicopter explosion scene and pay attention, it's the same one. Like, it's the same helicopter blowing up in all these trailers, because Dante was like, if the trailer got boring, we just grab this one scene of a helicopter blowing up and throw it in all the trailers. So that's what he did beforehand. So all right.
I got to watch again.
Mark, look at the
Oh,
draw
man,
there.
I really wanted Sludge to watch this.
Well, I picked last time, so Ruben, you get to pick what Mark watches, and
that's
we're going to
right.
find out what the
Yeah.
bias is here in just a second. So, Ruben, you go ahead. You pick Mark's movie.
No, it's going to be the same movie. I was gonna latch on to you. He's gonna watch Piranha 2.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Well, at least there's no bias. I don't think in that whatsoever.
No, I mean it was. I just really wanted Sludge to watch. I really was hoping.
So,
Well, how many Sludge did you get? All 3?
yes,
got all
yes, I
three.
got all 3 right.
You
Yes.
got all
you
3?
got all
Okay.
Got all 3 right. And no, it had nothing to do with the fact that Kurt sent me the questions. All right, just knew these. Okay?
Hey, I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
Neither me or Mark even said anything.
Why would you bring that up?
Because you all brought it up beforehand.
Did you? We didn't bring it. No, we're good.
we didn't bring it up.
The insinuation. Ruben, have you talked to Kurt? Or have you talked to Kurt? He's been talking to Sludge.
Mark,
Yeah, that's true.
Man, Mark,
I mean-
you have a deep voice, man. You talked to Mark. I didn't.
The point's been
realize-
made.
Oh,
Okay,
my
the point's
gosh.
been made. So all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
The
okay.
Lorax is watching Piranha 2: The Spawning. I am sorry, but hey, I will say this much if it encourages you. The cool thing about Piranha 2 and watching it is if you are a Cameron fan in any way, you will get to experience and really see if you pay attention. Because, he's done so many underwater movies. We got The Abyss. You got, screw Titanic. It's not underwater. No one cares. But like The Abyss, Avatar. There's a lot of underwater stuff, and Cameron's a big fan. He did stuff with Jacques Cousteau and whatnot. You can really see where he started when you pay attention to the underwater shots and how he filmed it. That would bloom into what he managed to really do with Abyss and like Avatar and stuff. So it is as
Are you trying to make me feel good?
I'm trying to make you feel better about having watched this movie. I'm sorry.
Because if I ever win again, you're going Kong, son of Kong. I'm telling you right now.
Anymore. It is hell for me to watch Son of Kong.
The only reason I picked this one is because it went along with the movie we're watching. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with that. And then when he started dousing it with lighter fluid and it said it was about to be lit on fire, I'm like, oh, if he loses, he's gonna have to watch it. And for those of you off camera, he went between takes. I didn't think he was listening. He went to the other room for something. And I was telling Mark he's gonna watch Piranha 2 if he loses. He was freaking. He was listening. Apparently, he has speakers in the other room, and he could hear everything I was saying.
Yeah, go walking over there trying to make sure we heard a beep happen during the middle of the earlier recording. I was like, I hope nothing messed up. So during one of the pauses when we edit and stuff and do the video drops, I ran over to the studio. I'm like, I'll make sure everything's still recording. And Ruben's talking smack. And he's like, this is what he's gonna watch. And I'm sitting here and I can just hear it the whole time. time, just in the speakers. I'm like,
oh
okay,
man, he spoiled
okay.
the whole thing for me by talking about Piranha 2. And I'm like, man, I was gonna nail
So
it.
Unfortunately, Mark, you now get to experience that
I got
one.
it.
So
I got it. It's
all
okay.
right, man. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us and continue to watch the episodes. Hope you guys are continuing to enjoy this. We've got some cool stuff coming up for you. Of course, now the next episode. The first one for July will be the next Gamera film, Gamera versus V. Ross, which is where things start to get very, very quirky and very stupid. But it'll be interesting. It should be a hilarious film, and you'll see why this is one of the several Gamera films that made it to the Mystery Science Theater 3000 seasons.
Yeah.
And then we're going to pick up another TV episode next month. And one of the things that we talked about going into this when it comes to the TV stuff was that, because you got a lot like Twilight Zone. We talked about how like there's so many episodes. So we just picked the single episode and we'll review that episode. But then you got shorter shows like, Castlevania, on Netflix. It's a fantastic show. Well, so you got like 8 episodes in a season. Well, so instead of just doing one episode for those shorter shows, we'll review the whole season, or the whole show type deal. But if it's one of those big analogy or whatever, the big shows like X-Files, Twilight Zone, Monsters, we'll pick single episodes. So the next TV one next month will be our first one that's actually an entire season wrapped in one episode. And we're going to break out into the tokusatsu realm. My son has been begging us to do something like that, and I thought it would be good. We're going to do Kamen Rider Black Sun. That is a quasi remake of the original Kamen Rider Black. It's available on Amazon if you all want to watch it. Definitely geared a little more towards adults, but it is a fun monster show mixed with superheroes, and we're going to be doing that next month. So we'll be talking about the whole season. There's 10 episodes, all in one episode. So next month, Gamera vs. V. Ross, and then at the end of the month, we'll be doing Kamen Rider Black Sun, which I highly recommend everybody go watch. So, all right, man. You guys got anything else?
No. If you haven't seen Piranha, watch it.
Yes.
Just watch it with, there's a brief nudity in it. So with the kids, you just need to keep an eye on that.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm good.
Grandmaster?
Man, I recommend Piranha. And when you're watching it when the scene where they're in Aquarina Springs, imagine like a 10-year-old Ruben on a glass boat in the middle of that lake getting chewed up by the piranha. Because that's where I was.
That might give you that little extra half point on your Stompdown.
But
all right, guys, thank you all again so much. And man, continue, join us on Facebook, join the group. Again, 3 times a week, we give you guys some extra material. Monday, we do the Underdogs, talking about some underrated movies you may not have heard of. Wednesday, Ruben rocks us out with the Wednesday Monster Mash, which is music from the monster movies or music related to monsters in some way. Friday nights, we do the Friday Night Fights where we throw 2 movies in the ring and you decide which monster movie is the better one. Follow us on Instagram, and please go check out all of our friends' show on the network. You got Give Me Back My Action Movies, Give Me Back My Horror Movies, Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and our buddies over at Good Beer Bad Movie Night. Go give them all a listen. They're all amazing. We appreciate you. We love you so much. This is Sludge.
And the Lorax.
you got Ruben in Texas.
Y'all have a good night. Better win trivia now. Hey, it's Toronto.
You heard
so
it?
bad.
He heard.
I walked into the
Hear that?
studio and heard it on the speakers. I'm like,
God dang it! He walked away, and and when I watched the movie, I said, "Okay, I already know what I'm going to make them watch if they lose," because I knew Spawn.
that one's rough. Oh my gosh,
yeah, that one's rough.
And they can fly too.
Dang it.
Like they can fly. They have like flying fish.